Where you people been? I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting 50 years for you people. As Rick said, I've been around a long time. In fact, I jokingly refer to myself as 003, which means I've been active at the national level longer than every living conservative except two others. Number 2 is Dr. Lee Edwards at the Heritage Foundation. 001 is who? Anybody got a guess? No, Ed's a kid compared to some of us. I'll give you a clue which always gives it away. It's a female. Phyllis Schlafly, yeah. And I travel around the country a lot and bump into Phyllis, if not once a month, 5, 6, 7 times a year. So she's going as strong as I am. I just had my 80th birthday, and God is my witness. I go 12, 13, 14 hours a day, 5.5 days a week, and in love every minute of it. One of the reasons is 50% of the reason I enjoy it so much is for Mark Fitzgibbons over here. The other half is his colleague Kathleen Pack. So thank you, Mark. Anyway, as Mark is half of the reason I enjoy getting up in the morning, you are half of the reason I am so optimistic about the future of America, but you're only half of it. The other half is Barack Obama. Once, twice, 3 times a day, he's going to do something to anger you, frustrate you, upset you. That's okay. Take 30, maximum 40 seconds. Get angry, throw something, cuss, whatever. Then get down on your knees and thank God that he's President of the United States. Because I know no other way to save America. For the 50 years I've been involved at the national level, periodically people ask me, Richard, is it too late to turn America around? Have we gone too far down the socialistic road to save America? And I've always had one answer and one answer only. But my answer, I realize in recent years, is incomplete. But my answer was, the only chance I see to save America is that things get real bad real quick. Well, guess what? We're there. The frogs are jumping out of that boiling water. But what I forgot was, even as they get really, really bad, we've got to have some vehicle there that will organize and lead the opposition, and that is the Tea Party. And I don't know where we'd be without you people. And I thank y'all. And I'll talk a little bit more about your importance and how you differ from the rest of the conservative movement here. But as Rick said, I'm writing a book. I'll hope to finish it in the next week or so, called Takeover. And it deals with what I consider the most important political battle in America. And it is not with Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, Barack Obama. It is inside the Republican Party. It's a 101-year-old battle. What happened politically 101 years ago? Anybody know? Teddy Roosevelt, progressive Republican, leaves the Republican Party, starts the Bull Moose Party, splits the Republican vote, and Woodrow Wilson, one of the worst presidents we've ever had, is elected. And we've been battling them ever since. You know, it's very difficult to win a war if you don't know you're in one. So we've had our guns trained on the wrong target. We're over here focused on Harry Reid, Obama, Pelosi, my day, Adlai Stevenson, McGovern, etc. But the real problem is the big government establishment Republicans. People don't like them. And in 2006, 2008, the Republicans lost the Congress, lost the White House, in my opinion, having nothing to do with the Democrats. It had everything to do with the failed, immoral, in my opinion, corrupt Republican leaders. George Bush, Karl Rove, Boehner, Hastert, etc., etc. People don't like them. We've had 4 in our lifetime, particularly my lifetime, most of y'all had the same experience, 4 big victories. 1980. 1984, the Gingrich Revolution contract with America, 1994, 2010. See any similarities there? All led by principled conservatives in the face of the opposition to the Democrats. was not the big government Republicans. It was small government, limited government conservatives. So now we go to 2010, and the Karl Roves, the George Bushes of the world, Denny Hastert, Bill Frist, the Republican leaders are nowhere to be seen. Who is out there as the opposition to the Democrats? It's you, the Tea Party. It's Rand Paul, Mike Lee, Rush Limbaugh, Hannity, Levin. People like them and gave the Republicans the biggest victory they've had in 75 or 80 years, okay? So, and then we went right back to the old ways in 2012 and had our head handed to us again. So, if we're going to be successful and bring limited government, constitutional conservatives to power, we first got to recognize who our principal opponent is, and it is the establishment Republicans. We are folks like the biblical Jews who could not get to the promised land until they wandered in that desert for 40 years, until that generation of failed, flawed leaders had passed from the scene. We're not going to get to the political promised land until we get new leadership. And we're seeing it out there. We're seeing the Mike Lees, the Ted Cruzes, the Rand Pauls, Justin Amash in the House, and Tim Huelskamp, and others out there. It's exciting. And that's why I say it's the primary stupid. Remember, 1992, James Carville said ad nauseum, it's the economy stupid. Well, I'll paraphrase that and say it's the primary stupid. Because in 2010, I was saying this in 2009, I started, we could see this wave coming that was going to wash out a lot of Democrats. And what a shame it would be if we just had more big government Republicans replace the ones the Democrats. We didn't get enough, but we had a lot of successes. And we can see a wave coming again. And if all that happens is we return more big government Republicans, we cannot expect different results. It's just not going to happen, people. So, by the way, I'm a big believer in challenging in every single race where there is not a limited government, constitutional conservative running. Even if you expect to get 20, 30% of the vote. Challenge everywhere. Even in Democrat seats where you maybe only get 20, 30% of the vote. What happens? Candidates get experience, okay? People volunteer, and they get experience. They get experience in dealing with the press, raising money, organizing volunteers. You identify people, you educate, and they're there for the next race. So that's how you become a leader, by actually doing. So we need to challenge every candidate who is not a limited government constitutional conservative. About 10 years ago, I heard in a conservative meeting I was attending, Herman Cain speak. And he used a phrase there that I really, really liked, and I've used it 100 times since then, and I commend it to you. And that is, he said, after you've established the conservatives' bona fides, the #1 quality you want to look for in a candidate is a boat rocker. Are they going to rock the boat? We have lots of Republicans in the legislatures around the country, in the Congress. They're not communists, they're not Marxists, they're not socialists, but they're going to go along with the leadership. They're not going to give up their weekend like you have. They're not going to travel around the country organizing and trying to change events that are moving in one direction, cause them to go in a different direction. We need a boat rocker. That's what Rand Paul is. That's what Mike Lee is. That's what Ted Cruz is, etc., etc. So when you're looking for candidates, look for candidates who are boat rockers. 1950s, early 1960s, I'm in Harris County, Houston, and chairman of the Harris County Young Republicans. And in those days, we were winning 40, 45, sometimes we'd get 47% of the vote, but seldom would we get 51%. And we had a two-legged stool in those days. Two-legged stool is not very sturdy. And then, in the mid to late 70s, everything changed. We added a third leg to that stool, and that was the social issues. Under the leadership of my deceased friend, Paul Wyrick, also my deceased friend, Jerry Falwell, we began to organize and bring in the social issue conservatives. And we went from 44, 45, 46% of the vote regularly to 51, 52, 53%. Now, we're not governing America. But we're competitive now. We weren't competitive back in the 50s or 60s, first half of the 70s, but now we're competitive. But in 2009, the fourth leg of that stool arrived. In fact, it's no longer a stool, it's a big table. And that's the Tea Party. You arrived, and it's the fourth leg of the party, of the movement. And the reason I say and people will regularly ask me, well, Richard, aren't they just economic conservatives? They believe in balanced budget, lower government regulation, less government regulation, lower taxes, etc. Says yes, but there's something else too. In 1976, Ronald Reagan ran for president against the entire Republican establishment. He ran against the Nixon wing of the party, the Ford wing of the party, Rockefeller. And Rockefeller seems like it's a long time ago, but he was vice president of the United States in 1976. So he ran against that entire Republican establishment. And Reagan had a wonderful phrase there. He talked about how we need new leadership. Leadership unfettered by old ties and old relationships. The Tea Party is unfettered, untied to these old relationships. January of 2010, I go to Dallas to Friday night be the keynote speaker, just like I'm talking to you all here today. And I met with maybe a dozen or so people in my hotel room before, then another 15, 20 afterwards. And I'm talking to them, asking a lot of questions. And I remember talking to a woman from Corpus Christi, Texas. And she ran a Tea Party group of about maybe 3,000 people. And she talked about how regularly they have meetings. And the local politicians, Republicans and Democrats, will call and say, I want to come to your meeting. And she says, great, love to have you. You come, and tell you what, I'll introduce you. But you don't talk. You listen to us. You know, that's the Tea Party. They're unfettered. I know every major conservative figure at the national level, most of them at the state level. I don't have a conservative friend that would talk to a Republican politician like that, but Tea Party does, and I commend you for that. And you exist because of the failures of the Republican leaders. There would be no need for a Tea Party if the Republican leaders had been providing limited government, constitutional conservatism. Rick, if I run overboard here, you can pull me off. When I'm in Houston, back as a youngster in the late 50s, early 60s, I'm hearing the seniors, the elders in the party, talk about lower taxes, less government, balanced budget, and I bought into that. I'm 13, 14 years old. I'm a conservative. I wasn't a conservative, just quickly. I'm second generation conservative.